What's happening, Manhwa champions? Don't forget to leave your feedback and smash that like button. Now let's dive into this epic tale. We open to the bustling scene of a busy airport. Planes soar high in the sky while cars stream continuously along the roads and through packed parking lots. Travelers hurry along crowded sidewalks, creating an atmosphere filled with life and urgency. In the distance, an area is cordoned off. Two men wearing crisp suits stand vigilantly beside a sleek black car. Beyond them, three men are intently staring at a mysterious, ominously glowing red portal crackling with energy. One of the men murmurs apprehensively, "This looks dangerous," as sparks of magic ripple fiercely around the portal. Zooming out, we see the three figures clearly, their eyes wide with anxiety. Another man steps forward, analyzing the scene grimly. "Based on the magic power emanating from the gate, if we don't subjugate the boss monster immediately, a dungeon break is imminent." "If that happens here," warns a red-headed man, turning towards us with golden yellow eyes glowing vividly, "it'll cause immense damage to the airport." Then in a chilling twist, he announces deliberately, "In that case, we'll report to the Hunters Association that there are no problems here." Apostle. As he speaks, we glimpse the formidable figures behind him, a towering giant of a man, muscular and bald, standing stoically with hands clasped behind his back. Beside him is a shorter, slender man with long blonde hair, and most notably, a striking young man clad entirely in a white suit. His white hair and piercing golden eyes radiate immense, intimidating power. The camera lingers on the apostle's fierce gaze, the raw power emanating from him undeniable. The three initial figures quickly depart, leaving behind only the bald giant, the blonde man, and the enigmatic apostle. The air grows thick with tension as the red portal begins to pulse violently, monstrous creatures beginning to spill forth, their grotesque forms shrouded in crackling red energy. The scene shifts into an intense monologue. Creations are beings made to execute the wishes of their creator. If our creator is bored, we'll fight amongst ourselves. If our creator desires something, we'll resort to any means necessary to obtain it. This is the very reason for our existence. But one day the creator, God, spoke solemnly, "One of my kind in another dimension is dead." We now see a dazzling angelic figure kneeling reverently before a glowing golden chalice, massive feathered wings folded gracefully behind him. God's voice commands, "Take this and bring me the rights to the world that lost its master." The narration deepens. Following our God's command, we gathered numerous believers. Our army set forth toward the world that lost its master. Hundreds of angel-like warriors descend through swirling dimensional gateways, spears and armor gleaming. Yet the dimensional passageway strains under the tremendous energy required, shattering like fragile glass under immense pressure. Despite these overwhelming challenges, the relentless army of God finally arrives. At their destination, an intimidating figure stands alone, a man cloaked entirely in black, surrounded by an aura of dark purple energy. The narration underscores, "In that place we encountered darkness, a pitch-black darkness of unfathomable depth." Suddenly, the dark figure utters one powerful word, "Arise!" The skies darken instantly, engulfing the angelic warriors in overwhelming shadow. Monstrous beings of pure darkness erupt from the shadows, towering menacingly above the angels. The narration continues gravely. The darkness and its army possess terrifying strength. Soldiers of God who fell were consumed by darkness, becoming our enemies. A brutal battle ensues as monstrous shadows tear through angelic ranks, their power amplifying with each fallen angel. Overwhelmed, God's army retreats, pushed beyond dimensional borders by the relentless darkness. Four enormous beings now appear, towering figures observing the chaotic battle through a shimmering orb. The divine envoy TL speaks decisively, "This is an opportunity. Just as it took time for us to traverse dimensions, those from the world lost to darkness cannot easily return. They lack discernible magic power. By utilizing Mistborns, we can infiltrate their world from within." A brief explanation of Mistborns unfolds. Mistborns, lowest ranked believers consumed by the fire of faith, yet relentlessly executing God's will. Although weak, their explosive faith propagation is deadly to those lacking magic power. We see these Mistborns clearly, hooded figures emanating dark crimson power engulfed in ghostly white flames. The narration concludes powerfully, focusing again on the four towering figures, all unanimously agreeing with Tiela's cunning strategy. Their plan now set in motion, a new wave of tension builds toward an inevitable clash of unimaginable forces. TL soon activated his unique ability, dividing his immense power into 5 distinct fragments. He entrusted his weakest fragment with the flame of the Mistborn, sending it towards the world that lost its master. His strategy worked flawlessly. The weakest fragment bypassed the notice of the darkness, successfully infiltrating Earth. We witness a shimmering green energy fragment piercing through a shroud of menacing darkness that cloaks the planet. Swiftly it streaks through the atmosphere, slipping unnoticed into an urban landscape and flowing gently through an open window. The narration reveals a complication. However, the first fragment of TL, upon reaching the world that lost its master, encountered unforeseen variables. Hovering above, the fragment observes 6 hunters, their bodies pulsating with intense blue energy, approaching a single authoritative figure who gestures calmly towards them. Entities without magic power in this world had somehow acquired it, the narration continues ominously, highlighting their newfound strength. Further discovery reveals that this magic power emerged after the Great Cataclysm. Deciding wisely, the first fragment patiently awaits reinforcement, successfully fusing with the second fragment. This sudden enhancement during our war, someone must have orchestrated it, speculates the Apostle, the striking man in white suit and white hair, his golden eyes gleaming sharply. Other setbacks must have arisen, he muses. It's crucial to assess the full potential of these beings called hunters. The scene transitions smoothly into the bustling interior of the airport terminal, teeming with travelers wheeling luggage and bustling about obliviously. The Apostle stands amid the crowd, his presence unnoticed, narrating internally. Understanding their true strength is vital to fulfill my role as TL's fragment. Suddenly, tranquility shatters. A thunderous crash echoes through the terminal. Chaos erupts instantly as terrified screams fill the air. Citizens scatter in panic, their faces twisted with fear, beads of sweat dripping as they desperately flee. Monsters emerge. A grotesque goblin brandishes a wicked knife. Beside it, a towering red monster wields an enormous bat, approaching menacingly. Monsters! Someone shrieks. It's a dungeon break! Contact the Hunters Association! A terrified man screams, frozen in horror as a massive red hand lunges toward him. The Apostle calmly surveys the unfolding nightmare, murmuring thoughtfully, if monsters infused with substantial magic power run rampant, higher-ranking hunters will inevitably appear. Perhaps this is my opportunity to witness the true strength of an S-rank hunter. Hunters rush frantically through the chaos, weapons drawn. One exclaims in confusion, why did a dungeon break happen here? Wasn't a guild already assigned to manage nearby gates? Observing the frantic hunters closely, the Apostle quietly acknowledges, the hunters stationed here, they're users of Stardust. Indeed, we notice each hunter bearing a glowing cross emblem on their chest, signifying their allegiance. Stardust, he continues thoughtfully, is a stimulant created by melting the fate of Mistborns. Typically, its faint traces have minimal impact, but with TL's amplify ability, his gaze intensifies, the glowing cross emblem now mirrored vividly in his golden eyes. Suddenly, the emblem flashes above the approaching hunters' heads, their eyes shifting ominously to golden hues. You're getting in our way, commands the Apostle coldly. Go back. Instantly, both hunters freeze, submitting entirely, replying robotically, yes, Apostle. Nearby, a tragic scene unfolds. A woman collapses, a goblin plunging its knife cruelly into her back. She gasps painfully, tears streaming, reaching desperately toward the indifferent Apostle. Help me, she begs weakly. Yet he merely observes her suffering coldly, musing internally. Creation exists solely for the Creator, God. I believed life's purpose was simply to fulfill God's wishes. Yet humans possess desires that should belong exclusively to their Creator. He stares impassively as blood pools around her lifeless body, her outstretched hand falling limply, leaving him standing amid a chilling tableau of violence and despair. The Apostle continues his chilling narration, eyes glowing fiercely golden, filled with contemptuous curiosity. Do these utterly weak humans genuinely think they are superior to us? Amidst the chaos, 2 green goblins chase down a terrified man, accompanied by an enormous red goblin brandishing a massive weapon. Ruthlessly, the goblin strikes, slicing deeply into the man's back as he collapses. Another victim sprawled helplessly nearby with a blade lodged gruesomely into his spine. An orange-haired man, face twisted in fear, tears streaming uncontrollably, rushes past a mysterious figure entering the terminal. The figure quietly murmurs, "A dungeon break?" I can't believe this happened the moment I arrived in Korea. Nearby, another terrified man lies helplessly on the ground, screaming desperately toward the ceiling, frozen by horror. Above him towers a monstrous red goblin, poised to crush him brutally with a heavy club, but at that exact moment, bam! The mysterious figure from earlier launches upward, fiercely driving his knee into the monstrous goblin's face. The impact resonates through the entire terminal with a thunderous crash. Landing gracefully, the masked figure calmly instructs the petrified victim, "I'll handle this monster. Run now." The apostle sharply pivots his attention toward the commotion, his golden eyes narrowing with intense interest. The masked hero moves swiftly, demonstrating unmatched skill and deadly precision. Bam! His foot smashes into a goblin's jaw, shattering it instantly. With ruthless efficiency, he swings his dagger, slicing another goblin cleanly in half, severing an arm effortlessly and neatly decapitating yet another monster. Close up, we see this enigmatic figure clearly, his eyes glowing an intense, piercing bluish white above a black mask that conceals half his face. Observing this newcomer carefully, the apostle considers him silently. A hunter wearing a black mask? A man standing beside the apostle quickly interjects, "I've heard that a masked hunter destroyed the entire hyena guild." The hero stands confidently amidst the carnage, gripping his dagger tightly, his white jacket and black mask creating a striking, unmistakable presence. The apostle's intrigue deepens, his gaze fixed unwaveringly on the hero, thinking to himself, could this be the disruptor Lee Min-sung spoke about? Chaos reigns inside the terminal building as a gruesome massacre continues unchecked. Goblins rampage wildly, gleefully piercing humans with spears, slashing brutally with knives, and mercilessly plunging daggers into their victims. The green creatures sprint through the carnage with manic smiles, weapons raised triumphantly overhead. Suddenly, a swift dash cuts through the chaos, a blur of motion as our hero punches cleanly through the monstrous crowd, striking down a fourth monster before any can react. There's no way the Hunters Association would overlook a dungeon gate in such a crowded area until a dungeon break occurs, he thinks urgently, standing atop a defeated goblin. What could have happened? Evacuating people comes first. Behind him, the apostle watches silently from a distance, his eyes glowing intensely. Golden. Observing the hunter closely, he notes internally, he carries no trace of misborn fate. He hasn't used Stardust. His mana is on par, possibly even stronger than Lee Min-sung's. In a bold move, the Black Mask Hunter raises his hand and commands with authority, "Arise!" Immediately, swirling black energy erupts, summoning 3 formidable shadow goblins that emerge before him. "Help the people who couldn't evacuate," he instructs firmly. The apostle's eyes widen sharply in shock and disbelief, beads of sweat forming instantly on his brow. "That's the authority used by the darkness," he stammers internally, recalling the fearsome battle between the angelic army and the shadows. A human wielding this power? If he's linked to the darkness, that would explain his attacks on the Hyena Guild and the Star Power Factory. To sabotage our plans. The masked hunter suddenly turns his gaze sharply toward the apostle, prompting the apostle to urgently mask his presence. I must remain hidden, he thinks quickly. He must not discover me. Without warning, a massive gas truck hurtles toward the apostle. Boom! It crashes violently, triggering an immense explosion and scattering fiery debris in every direction. The hero swiftly shields the apostle, emerging from the blazing chaos unharmed. A truck flying in out of nowhere, he murmurs cautiously, glancing at the shaken figure behind him. Are you okay, kid? From the flames emerges a terrifying bull-like monster, its eyes blazing the same fierce golden hue as the apostle's. So, that's the boss monster, the hero observes grimly. An ant-like shadow figure emerges quietly from his hood, remarking thoughtfully, Young Monarch, I sense the interim's energy from that beast. Clenching his fists tightly, the hero replies determinedly, Then this dungeon break might be connected to them. The ant-like shadow hesitates, confused. Was I mistaken? It wonders, sensing another hidden presence, the apostle quietly standing behind them, cloaked in secrecy. Suddenly, with a thunderous roar that reverberates throughout the terminal, the monstrous bull-like creature winds back its massive fist. Without hesitation, our hero lunges forward, launching himself into the air, fist drawn back, ready for a monumental clash. Dumping all the points I've gained from leveling up to level 35 into strength, his status window flashes urgently. Ping! Strength. 70 has now evolved to 77. Their fists collide powerfully. Bam! The collision creates an explosive shockwave, shattering the surroundings with sheer force, neither opponent yielding an inch. Amid the flying debris, the Apostle watches intently, calculating. He believes I'm merely a young human he needs to protect. He might wield darkness, but he's still far weaker compared to its true form. The fierce battle rages on, the hero skillfully landing a powerful kick to the monster's massive face. Observing this relentless struggle, the Apostle narrows his eyes decisively, glowing brighter with a determined intensity. However, his potential remains unknown, he contemplates, eyes blazing ominously. Meeting him here might be fortunate. I must eliminate him now. Amid the flames and ruin, a figure calmly walks through the devastated terminal, flames reflecting ominously off his spectacles. Looks like I'm late, he mutters calmly. Let's finish this quickly. Fire suddenly erupts from his hand, spiraling forward with controlled precision. Hovering fireballs swiftly form above the heads of the rampaging goblins, who stare upward in sudden dread, their grotesque faces contorted in panic. Even the Apostle looks skyward in stunned disbelief as fiery doom rapidly approaches. Fire! Our masked hero exclaims, instinctively leaping clear of the onslaught. We zoom out to capture the dramatic scene. Numerous fiery orbs suspended momentarily above their monstrous targets, summoned by a formidable red-haired man in a striking crimson coat. With a simple gesture, the man closes his fist decisively. The fireballs descend in unison, engulfing and obliterating every monster instantly. The hero, watching in astonishment, thinks nervously, sweat trickling down his brow. Orbs of fire attacking the monsters? He took them all out instantly? Who is this guy? The mysterious figure strides confidently forward, fire crackling gently around him, his bright red hair and sharp glasses prominent in the glow. A realization dawns on our hero. This man is none other than the famed S-rank hunter Choi Yongin. Choi Yongin's eyes glow an intense red as he assesses the aftermath, noting with mild surprise, "Oh, didn't think it'd survive that. Tough guy." The tough guy is revealed, the massive bull-like monster still looming ominously behind our protagonist. Hunter Choi smirks confidently, pressing his palms together. Flames erupt dramatically, shaping rapidly into an immense fiery bow and arrow. Drawing back, Choi releases the flaming arrow with explosive power. The arrow blasts forward, ripping through the terminal floor, tearing toward the massive monster who lunges desperately, jaws wide open. But it's too late. The arrow strikes true, catapulting the monster violently upward and crashing it through the terminal roof into the sky above. Flames cascade around the gaping hole left by the monstrous impact. Case closed, Hunter Choi declares coolly, adjusting his glasses with a satisfied smirk. Survivors, gathering courage, erupt in cheers. Wow, Hunter Choi Yong-in, expected from the ultimate hunter. Thank you. Choi acknowledges their praise with a gracious wave and reassuring smile, continuing calmly through the cheering crowd. Pausing briefly, he thinks, I thought I saw a kid here. Even the masked hunter vanished, leaving all the credit. Strange. Hidden discreetly behind a shattered door, our hero breathes a sigh of relief, muttering softly, Thank goodness Hunter Choi arrived. It would have been troublesome if he'd tried to uncover my identity. Time to go. Reflecting grimly as he departs unseen, he contemplates the unusual event. The interim has operated secretly until now. Attacking civilians publicly like this, is it simply to create a spectacle, or is something deeper unfolding here? Birds glide gracefully through the cloudy sky as twilight gives way to night, the shimmering city below gradually illuminating the darkness. Within a lavish apartment, the Apostle stands silently, his white hair reflecting moonlight, golden eyes surveying the sprawling metropolis with a detached contemplation. Suddenly behind him, a small portal begins to manifest, pulsing gently with growing intensity. The Apostle's gaze shifts coolly toward the expanding phenomenon, speaking calmly, So you've arrived, third fragment. From within the portal emerges a voice, resonant yet authoritative. It's been a while, second fragment. Turning toward the portal, the Apostle addresses his successor solemnly. Allow me to summarize briefly before transferring the body. In this world exist humans, among whom certain individuals possess mana, known as hunters. Of particular concern are those labeled as S ranks, possessing immense mana. Furthermore, another variable has appeared, one who must be eliminated. As he speaks, vivid memories surface. Images of Hunter Choi and the mysterious black mask hunter flash before his eyes. Enough, interrupts the voice from within the glowing portal impatiently. I will witness all necessary details through the memories I inherit. Your role has concluded. Now let me absorb you as we have planned. The apostle pauses, his golden eyes flickering briefly with hesitation. What's wrong, Second? Queries the voice sharply. Is there a problem? It's nothing, the apostle responds firmly, masking his reluctance. Then I'll entrust everything to you. Internally, he reflects deeply. Am I lingering over my own existence? An existence that will soon vanish and be replaced? Such attachments cannot override the will of God. Resolutely, he extends his arms outward, welcoming the shimmering crimson fragment, his voice resolute. All shall be done for our God, the great Creator. The fragment merges dramatically with the apostle, emitting a vibrant red glow that floods the entire room and radiates outward, illuminating the night sky above the building in a spectacular crimson display. Inside, smoke, dust, and crackling crimson energy swirl across the floor. Feet plant firmly amidst this chaos, a powerful figure emerges, yellow and crimson energies pulsating powerfully around him. As memories flood into his consciousness, he murmurs thoughtfully, So this is the variable the second spoke of. Now fully fused, the third fragment has transformed the body, towering with greater stature, exuding immense power from his imposing frame. Diving deeply into inherited memories, he contemplates with fascination. Who could have imagined a being wielding the same authority as the darkness existing in this world? Addressing the absent second fragment aloud, he declares confidently, Your final decision was wrong. Eliminating him would be a waste. His muscular fist clenches decisively, eyes glowing fiercely golden. If we turn him into our believer, we could command even the dead. His youthful yet authoritative face radiates confidence as he gazes ahead, already envisioning the potential dominance within their grasp. In an unfamiliar, cozy house, our protagonist slumps onto a sofa, head thrown back with an exhausted sigh. You seem tired, young monarch, remarks the ant-like shadow companion beside him. Of course I am, the young monarch replies wearily, dark circles underlining his eyes. My uncle just gave me a huge lecture. He recalls the intense scolding vividly. It's good you're trying to protect Earth, but your safety comes first. If something happens to you, how could I ever face your parents? His uncle shouted with genuine concern. Reflecting on his uncle's words, the young monarch looks up at the ceiling thoughtfully, muttering softly, Mom and Dad must be worried too, right? Let's head to the Shadow Dungeon, he announces, leaping energetically off the sofa and discarding the towel draped around his neck. Perhaps you should rest a little, suggests the Shadow Ant cautiously. Rest? No time, our protagonist retorts eagerly. I rushed back and missed my daily quest. Can't afford to lose any daily rewards. He flashes a confident grin. The ant-like shadow observes him skeptically, silently contemplating. He's too addicted to becoming stronger? A sudden shift brings them into the Shadow Dungeon, a gloomy, desolate landscape filled with crumbling buildings, jagged rocks, and an eerie dark blue sky. What? The young monarch exclaims, sweat forming on his brow, eyes widening with shock as a system window appears. Alert! You have defeated all the outer-worldly residents of the Shadow Dungeon. Daily quests have ended. What happened here? He shouts, bewildered, standing before three figures, a towering crocodile-like creature, a young woman with striking purple hair wielding a spear, and a barking dog at her side. Breaking the awkward silence, the girl explains quietly, Amit killed all the goblins overnight. Amit! Our protagonist stammers, eyeing the massive crocodile figure, chains wrapped around him, confidently crossing his arms. Amut calmly asserts, I simply cleared out the loathsome servants of Tanakh. As promised, no humans were harmed. You defeated all those goblins? The protagonist's voice trembles, realizing, my growth rate will slow drastically without the daily quests. Seeing his distress, Amut offers firmly, if becoming stronger is your goal, I can train you. Stunned, the young monarch looks up hopefully. You can do that? I wasn't always strong, Amit replies confidently. I know exactly how to train effectively. Let me guide you. At that moment, a quest window pops up with a chime. Daily quest. Preparation to become stronger has arrived. Accept? Another daily quest, our protagonist thinks, decisively clicking accept. Alright, I'll rely on you then, he says eagerly. Let's see. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, In a 10-kilometer run, he reads aloud from the window, questioning skeptically, "This is supposed to make me stronger?" "That alone won't suffice," Amit interjects sternly, flashing intimidatingly sharp teeth. "You'll carry me on your back while doing each task." The protagonist's eyes widen dramatically in disbelief. "You want me to carry you?" The girl nearby also stares in shock as Amit calmly clarifies, "My current size might be challenging, but don't worry. My body has been repeatedly broken and regenerated by Tanak. I can manipulate my size." Everyone watches astonished as Amit shrinks slightly, stepping confidently toward the young monarch. "This should suffice," Amit announces. "Let's start your training, young monarch," Amit declares, looming over the protagonist, preparing for his first push-up. Determined, our hero mutters, "All right, Amit. There's a significant strength gap, but I must unlock our bond skill." A new alert appears. Due to the significant power difference, the bond skill Heir of the Iron Body remains locked. Required level, 80%. "Having a quest-given teammate isn't bad," he remarks optimistically. Suddenly, Amit casually sits cross-legged atop the protagonist's back. Bam! The ground cracks beneath the immense weight. "Oops," Amit admits casually. "Forgot to mention, I can shrink my size, but not my weight." "I'm supposed to do 100 push-ups like this?" Our protagonist gasps, gritting his teeth, straining desperately beneath Amit's immense mass. "My arms feel like they're breaking." Relaxing comfortably, Amit advises sagely, "I understand it's tough, but enduring this breakdown and regeneration is the only path to true strength." Scene shifts abruptly to a field-type dungeon near Panju. An eerie skeleton's face emanates a chilling blue light shining from its eyes and mouth, illuminating the surroundings ominously. "You finally appeared," says a figure standing near a tank containing two shadowy forms glowing brightly with blue energy. Nearby, a man stands nonchalantly, cigarette between his lips, frustration etched on his face. "How much longer do I need to do this?" he demands sharply, addressing a cloaked figure behind him. "Human," the cloaked figure replies disdainfully. "You should feel honored to partake in this sacred duty. The Chosen One has freed us from our filthy lives, hasn't he?" As the figure steps forward, its grotesque features emerge clearly, crimson eyes glaring beneath a mess of writhing tentacles emerging from its grotesque mouth. A name flashes ominously before us. Demon Muram, Stardust Factory Overseer. "Filthy life?" scoffs the smoking man, a dangerous edge creeping into his voice. In an instant, he lunges forward, his crimson dagger flashing as he slices effortlessly through Muram's tentacles. They drop to the ground, twitching. "A mere monster dares judge my life? Do you have a death wish?" he snarls, eyes blazing red as he sheathes his dagger decisively. "Where's the kid?" "The apostle is occupied," Muram responds calmly, his severed tentacles already rapidly regenerating. "Lee Tae-gu will return to Korea soon. Ensure he honors his promise." The smoking man narrows his eyes suspiciously, unimpressed. Muram continues, holding out a dazzling yellow crystal emanating majestic golden energy. "Human, you must have received this as well. Why haven't you used it?" he elaborates, eyes glinting reverently. "The Chosen One appeared as a savior after the Shadow Monarch decimated our demon realm. Cast out of the dimensional gap, he alone offered hope." Memory flashes vividly. The demon kneeling humbly before a majestic woman with flowing white hair and a towering man in a white suit, both crowned with radiant stardust insignias, angelic yet imposing. "Thanks to him," Muram declares fervently. Modifying the berserk poison allowed stardust to spread unchecked throughout the demon realm, as visions of their homeland erupt in towering flames and chaos, consumed utterly by relentless destruction. "If you follow him," the demon says persuasively, holding out the radiant yellow crystal, "you'll gain strength beyond your current imagination. Even someone like Lee Tae-gu won't stand a chance against you." The man facing the demon, cigarette dangling loosely from his lips, scoffs contemptuously, the cigarette dropping to the ground as he responds sharply, "You know jack shit about S-rankers. Stop acting like you're an expert." Turning away, he dismisses the demon's offer with disdain. "Quit that cult talk. I have no intention of using that garbage." The demon watches him leave, eyes narrowing spitefully. "Human, you're truly foolish," he sneers bitterly. "That's why you'll always remain a loser." Exiting what appears to be a shadowy construction site, the man heads toward his sleek black car, rage simmering beneath his composed exterior. Gritting his teeth, he mutters fiercely, "I just need to hold on until that kid takes down Lee Tae-gu." Afterward, I'll report everything to the Hunters Association and they'll clean up this mess. Determination flashes across his face. I'll restore things to the way they're supposed to be, to my brilliant former self. His mind drifts briefly, recalling our protagonist's father, Sung Jin Woo, echoing these very sentiments years prior. High above, perched atop towering cranes, a mysterious figure observes silently, her vibrant red hair flowing dramatically. Clad entirely in black, her identity concealed by a matching black mask, she watches intently as the man drives away. Activating her earpiece, she speaks urgently. Association Chairman, Lee Min-sung just emerged from the Paju Field-type dungeon. I suspect that's the production site for Stardust. In his office, the Association Chairman Wu listens intently, replying calmly, "Keep following him, Hunter Miho," before setting down his device thoughtfully. Chairman Wu is not alone. Seated comfortably nearby is the formidable S-rank hunter Choi Yong-in, casually reading a newspaper. Without looking up, Hunter Choi remarks thoughtfully, "Looks like we're finally getting closer to uncovering Lee Min-sung's true intentions, Chairman Wu." Hunter Choi continues his discussion, voice steady but grave. During the airport dungeon break, every association staff member managing nearby gates reported losing their memories simultaneously. Notably, all affected hunters had consumed Stardust. Casually tossing the newspaper onto the table, he emphasizes further, "We've already identified hunters exhibiting strange behavior in various locations. The common factor among them, they've all used Stardust." Chairman Wu rises from his chair, a determined expression tightening his features, declaring firmly, "Given these troubling revelations, the Hunter Association plans to ban Stardust entirely." Hunter Choi pushes up his glasses thoughtfully, asking pointedly, "And Lee Min-sung? What's your plan regarding him?" Chairman Wu, jaw clenched tightly, eyes fierce with resolve, responds emphatically, "We'll apprehend him and uncover whoever's pulling the strings behind him." Hunter Choi nods decisively, pledging, "My hunters will support your efforts fully." Settling back into his chair, Chairman Wu listens as Hunter Choi adds reassuringly, "Oh, CEO Yu informed me that Suho has safely returned. If Suho truly is a growth-type hunter like his father, he might face obstacles from the hunter system, just as his father once did." Gazing thoughtfully at a photograph of himself alongside Suho's father, Chairman Wu softly vows, "Hunter Choi, I'll do everything within my power to assist Suho." Meanwhile, our protagonist, Suho, grits his teeth in fierce determination, his piercing blue eyes glowing brightly. 99, 100, he exclaims triumphantly, completing his brutal push-up set. The impact cracks the ground beneath him, and shockingly, bones protrude visibly through his skin. "Young Monarch, you're finished already?" "That's just today's push-ups," Amit casually remarks, finally standing up from his perch atop Suho's back. Panicked and tearful, the purple-haired girl rushes forward, sobbing, "Young Monarch's arms are broken!" The dog beside her watches in stunned silence, equally horrified. "You reckless crocodile! What have you done to our fragile young monarch?" "The training ends here," the shadow ant insists urgently. Yet amidst this chaos, Suho raises one trembling hand toward the sky, rasping defiantly, "Status window!" A system interface immediately appears, and without hesitation, he selects Purchase. All eyes turn toward Suho in astonished silence. Breathing heavily, but eyes gleaming fiercely, he declares resolutely, "Perfect." I needed to become stronger before confronting Lee Min-sung. Nearby, an emptied health potion rolls gently on the ground as Suho stands reinvigorated, wounds rapidly healing, bruises vanishing miraculously. Facing Amit with unwavering determination, he grins boldly. 3 tasks remain, correct? Let's continue this preparation to become stronger. The shadow ant and the purple-haired elf girl stare in utter shock, hearing labored breaths counting 21, 22. Nearby, Amit sits firmly atop our protagonist as he relentlessly performs sit-ups, each impact cracking the earth beneath them. Blood trickles from his mouth, yet he pushes on, determined to complete his brutal daily regimen. Empty health restoration bottles lie scattered nearby, each testimony to the punishing training session. With sheer grit, the protagonist moves from sit-ups to squats, Amit perched imposingly on his shoulders, tears streaming down his anguished face. More empty potion bottles accumulate, a stark reminder of the punishing physical toll. Now running the grueling 10 kilometers with Amit still on his shoulders, our protagonist's determination shines through, even as sweat pours and tears blur his vision. Amit, observing from atop, thinks in awe, the young monarch endures, constantly seeking ways to surpass his limits, Someday, he might even outstrip Tannic and rival the other monarchs. Exhausted and collapsed on the barren ground, the protagonist and his canine companion lie motionless, energy completely depleted. Suddenly, a system notification chimes, "Reward for quest completion available. Would you like to check the reward?" Amlet, back to his normal size, towers above our protagonist, sprawled limply on the ground, surrounded by concerned comrades. The Shadow Ant declares gently, "That concludes today's training." Barely raising a trembling finger, our hero selects the reward window, thinking wearily, "The training was hellish, but the reward was worth it. My endurance and strength have increased." The status window confirms, strength 77 to 78, skill endurance level 3. Physical defense increased from 40% to 60%. Clenching his shaking fist, he shouts weakly yet determinedly, "Amit, I'm counting on you again tomorrow." "Understood, young lord," Amit responds confidently, arms crossed with satisfaction. Location shifts as the Shadow Ant gently floats a blanket over our protagonist, now safely in bed. "You collapsed immediately upon returning home," he murmurs softly. "You did well, young lord. Now I'll enjoy some rare leisure." Relaxing beside the bed, the Shadow Ant watches a news report. Following the recent dungeon break, the Hunter Association introduced new regulations on field-type dungeons. High-level guilds, like Reaper Guild, are required to take immediate action. Elsewhere, a frustrated Hunter Lee Minseong stares incredulously at a letter. "What is this?" he demands angrily. "Hunter Lee Minseong," responds a man in a black suit, adjusting his glasses calmly. "The Reaper Guild controls far too many field-type dungeons. We cannot ignore dungeons posing a threat to civilians." Another representative adds sternly, "The Hunter Association has ordered a raid on your guild's B-rank Paju field dungeon. Furthermore, you've been inactive for over 6 months. Participation in this raid will maintain your hunter license." Min Seong sweats nervously, silently realizing, Chairman Wu must have orchestrated this to target me, especially choosing Paju, home to our largest factory. Should I defy the association's directive? Before Min Seong can speak, another voice interjects confidently, "We'll comply with the association's request." "Thank you, Guildmaster Lim Tae-gyu," replies the association representative. Seated across the room, Lim Tae-gyu, an imposing figure with long hair, dressed sharply in a red suit jacket and black tie, calmly assures, "We must adhere to the association's judgment." Min Seong, panicked and sweating more profusely, thinks anxiously, "Lim Tae-gyu returned early from his overseas mission. Is he here specifically to obstruct me?" The Hunter Association representatives stand, preparing to depart, stating firmly, "We'll dispatch additional hunters for the Paju raid. Please coordinate accordingly." After the Hunter Association representatives leave, tense silence settles heavily between Lee Min-seong and Lim Tae-gyu. Min-seong, visibly distressed, finally breaks the silence, face buried in his palm. "Lim Tae-gyu, have you lost your mind? Do you realize the value of even one field dungeon?" Min-seong snaps harshly. Tae-gyu, composed but stern, replies, "Do you honestly believe the Hunter Association's real objective is simply to remove field dungeons? They must have caught wind of your secret activities." Dread floods Min-seong's expression as Tae-gyu continues firmly, "I warned you not to underestimate the association, yet you ignored my advice and exploited guild members recklessly while I was gone." The room grows oppressive as Tae-gyu's powerful presence intensifies, eyes locking fiercely onto Min-seong. "How much longer will you treat me like your personal chauffeur, cleaning up your messes, Min-seong?" Min-seong visibly trembles under Tae-gyu's intimidating aura. Suddenly, Tae-gyu's phone rings sharply. Glancing at the screen, his eyes widen slightly in curiosity. "My scouts report a new S-rank hunter has appeared in Korea. I'll head to the association." "Prepare the contract money," he commands, slamming his phone down decisively. Before leaving, Tae-gyu pauses at the door, turning briefly toward Min-seong with a hint of compassion. "Min-seong, it might still be possible to fix things. Let's handle this together." He closes the door gently behind him, leaving Min-seong alone, slumped and defeated on the sofa. Anger and frustration built within Min-seong, his eyes blazing crimson with rage. "Another S-rank? Those who lucked into S-rank think they're so special," he seethes internally. "When will that damn alien fragment ever arrive to kill Lim Tae-gyu?" Before he can finish his dark thoughts, a notification pings on the phone beside him. Min-seong glances curiously at the message, a sinister grin gradually spreading across his face, his eyes pulsing dangerously red. "Interesting. You were up to something after all, he murmurs menacingly, staring at a photo of the grown-up apostle on his phone, Korea's newest S-rank hunter. The scene shifts to outside the impressive Hunter Association building, bustling with activity. Inside, whispers and astonishment ripple among the gathered individuals in suits as the apostle, now identified as Hunter Park Do-jin, strides confidently between two association representatives. That's Korea's newest S-rank hunter, whispers erupt around him. Hunter Park Do-jin, congratulations on your achievement, Hunter Choi greets warmly, approaching the white-haired apostle. That's Hunter Choi from the Hunters Guild, another voice exclaims. Hunter Choi studies Park Do-jin carefully, saying thoughtfully, Have we met before? You seem familiar. It's our first encounter, Park Do-jin replies politely, his golden yellow eyes shimmering mysteriously. But I know much about you, Hunter Choi. My apologies, Hunter Choi responds gracefully. By the way, would you consider joining our Hunters Guild? I appreciate the offer, Park Do-jin answers smoothly. But I've already chosen a guild. Pointing confidently past Hunter Choi, he indicates someone entering the building, adding, Perhaps it's not too late. All eyes turn toward Lim Tae-gyu, who hurriedly enters, breathing heavily as if he had rushed to the scene. Stunned, Tae-gyu pauses, sweat dripping, confused and startled by the sudden attention. Huh? Park Do-jin locks eyes with Tae-gyu, confidently affirming his choice. That is the guild I intend to join. 1 week later, the camera pans over the vast expanse of Paju Field, a rugged landscape flanked by mountains and riverbeds, centered around an industrial structure resembling an oil refinery. A red-haired woman clad in tactical armor approaches confidently, saluting with precision. I've joined the Paju Field raid at the request of the Hunter Association. I'm Baek Miho from the White Tiger Guild, she announces, introducing herself as an A-rank hunter. Lee Min-seong, nice to meet you, Min-seong replies smoothly, flashing a warm, professional smile. You must be having a tough time due to the dungeon. Not at all. It's only right to help, Miho answers courteously, though her inner thoughts betray a different story. As her golden glowing eyes narrow with subtle contempt, she smirks inwardly. Wow, actors really are something else, she muses, pretending to be kind while being completely two-faced. Watching Min-seong warmly welcome other hunters with exaggerated cheer, she narrows her gaze even more. Whatever happens here today, everything in Paju Field will be exposed, she thinks fiercely. I'll be the one to rip that mask off myself. Her eyes then dart toward the imposing figure of Park Do-jin, the grown-up apostle, now a member of the Reaper Guild. If there's a wild card in this operation, it's him. We see Park Do-jin standing alongside fellow Reaper Guild member Se-young, their presence marked and formidable. Miho stares coldly in their direction. Well, if it comes to that, she thinks determinedly, I've got my own card to play. Behind her, the Hunter Association members ready themselves, their expressions intense and battle-hardened. All right, mining team, a voice shouts. A group of miners rush across the rocky terrain, grabbing pickaxes and assembling into position. As one man raises his tool and glances toward the distant hills, anticipation thickens in the air. And so, the Paju Field raid begins. We open to a flashback, a few days ago. Inside an elegant office, Lee Min-seong stands tall in his pristine white suit, arms folded, eyes locked onto the man across from him. I can't believe how much you've grown in such a short time, he remarks sharply. Do aliens grow faster or something? Across from him sits the apostle, now fully grown and composed, delicately holding a cup of tea. Previously, I selected a small youth body for survival. Now that I've regained my strength, appearance no longer matters. Lee raises an eyebrow. And the name Park Do-jin? Becoming a hunter? What's the plan? The apostle lifts the cup to his lips and takes a slow sip. It's a name I created for future external activities. Becoming a hunter will make those activities smoother. Lee leans forward, eyes narrowing. Because of what happened at the airport, the Hunter Association is using the civilian casualties as a weapon against me. If they discover the factory in Paju Field, it's over for both of us. Don't worry, Lee Min-seong, the apostle replies calmly. I joined the Reaper Guild raid party to prevent exactly that. I'll turn every hunter in that party into a follower. Once they're mine, nothing will be discovered. Lee chuckles darkly. You're playing a strong hand from the start. But do you really think you can beat Lim Tae-gyu, an S-rank hunter? You mean our promise to kill Lim Tae-gyu? The apostle asks, his voice quiet but edged. After meeting him, I'm certain. A vivid memory of Lim Tae-gyu flashes in his mind. If I fight an S rank now, a massive grin spreads across the apostle's face. Even if we both die, keep your promise. Scene shifts to the Hunter Association building. Inside his office, the association chairman sits tensely at his desk, deep in thought. The Paju field subjugation should be starting soon, he murmurs. Lee Min-seong and Stardust, I need solid evidence from this operation. His elbows rest heavily on the table, worry creasing his features. He considers the team dispatched to the field. With the hunters involved this time, there's little to worry about. The White Tiger Guild's cooperation. A-rank hunter, back Miho, and for emergencies. Hunter Choi Jong-in. We see Miho, her long red hair flowing, eyes sharp. Choi Jong-in stands stoically, flames dancing in his palm. And one more S-rank hunter on standby, the chairman adds, a glowing-eyed silhouette flashing briefly in his mind. The only variable is the sudden emergence of S-rank Park Do-jin. That he joined the Reaper Guild the moment the Paju field raid began. It smells like Lee Min-seong's handiwork. He visualizes the Apostle and Lee grinning side by side. Suspicion deepens. And there's one more thing that bothers me. His frown deepens, gaze falling to a dossier on his desk. Suho! A single paper displays Suho's image. He was sent in as a minor, the chairman thinks as a bead of sweat slides down his neck. Whether coincidence or fate, I approved it without resistance. But was that the right call? He leans back in his chair, staring pensively out the window at the vast city skyline. If Suho has a plan behind all of this, then all I can do is help him. The scene takes us back to the present in the Paju field dungeon. Inside the fiery heart of a cavern, a massive red monster conjures a blazing ball of fire in its gaping maw. As the camera pulls back, a second monster appears, both unleashing torrents of fire toward a pair of hunters desperately bracing behind glowing shields. The attack team! We can't hold out much longer, one of the shield bearers shouts, sweat pouring from his brow under the blistering heat. Footsteps echo behind them. A red-haired woman approaches. Without a word, she knocks on the armor of one of the shield holders and walks past him. The man glances sideways, her red hair flowing in the heated wind. Suddenly, another wave of fire surges forward. But before it can land, bam! Baek Mi-ho launches a devastating punch into the monster's jaw, sending the beast flying into distant rock formations. Without missing a beat, she turns and uppercuts the second monster, its blood spraying violently across the air. Another beast lunges at her. Miho's golden eyes flash, a streak of golden lightning trailing as she swiftly ducks beneath the creature's strike, flips, and launches herself high into the cavern's ceiling. Using a rock ledge as a springboard, she rockets toward the monster. The last thing the beast sees is Miho's descending silhouette. Crack! Her fist smashes into its skull, driving it into the ground in a thunderous impact. Dust and shattered rock fill the air. She stands amidst the broken bodies of her foes, casting a sidelong glance at the stunned hunters around her. Her mind sharpens. As expected, Lee Min-seong isn't lifting a finger. What a waste of an A-rank awakener, she thinks, eyes drifting back to him, just standing in the rear, smoking. What does he even think about hunters? Suddenly, a new monster appears, mouth wide, glowing red eyes locked on her. Ah! I got distracted, she thinks, realizing it too late. But before the monster can strike, boom! A single palm strike slams into it, sending it crashing to the floor. Hunter Park Do-jin, the Apostle, stands over the slain creature, smoke still rising from his hand. Be careful, Hunter Baek Mi-ho, he says coolly. He took out that salamander with one blow, she thinks in disbelief. And he came dressed in casual clothes. I thought he was a rookie, even if he was an A-rank. Her stunned gaze follows him as he pulls up his hood, golden energy radiating from his body. In a blur, he darts through the cavern. Swords flash. 1, 2, 3 salamander heads soar into the air, cleanly severed. Their bodies collapse behind him. This is the difference. The sheer chasm. Between an S rank and the rest of us, Baek Mi-ho thinks, staring at the trail of bloodied stone behind him. The other hunters step forward, joining Park Do-jin's side. Lee Min-seong arrives at the center of the group. Seems like it's all wrapped up, he says casually, cigarette still in hand. It ended faster than I thought. Baek Mi-ho narrows her eyes. But doesn't it feel like there were fewer beasts than usual in Paju Field? Lee Min-seong grins slyly. You noticed, Hunter Baek Mi-ho? Our Reaper Guild manages monster populations regularly in all our field dungeons. That's why there's no danger to civilians. The Apostle frowns in the background, listening quietly. Managing monster numbers, Mi-ho thinks. Most guilds don't track that so closely. There's no reason to enter a dungeon like this daily. Her eyes drift to the bleeding salamander corpse. There's something inside this dungeon they're hiding. Lee Min-seong walks ahead, cigarette glowing faintly. Now, the boss room is this way, he says, then grins to himself. Search for 1,000 days if you want, he thinks, eyes glowing red with cruel delight. Catching me? Impossible. Lee Min-seong continues with his internal monologue, a sinister calm behind his gaze. The demons have already dismantled the factory and hidden themselves deep within this field dungeon. Within his mindscape, we see a pulsating vision, red energy flowing from the demon with multiple glowing eyes and writhing tentacles hovering ominously over the Peiju field dungeon. Finding any trace of the factory, or even leaving this place with your sanity intact, is impossible, he thinks, a small smirk curling at the edge of his lips. Behind Baek Miho, the apostle, Park Dojin stands silently, a faint smile creeping across his face. Deep within the dungeon, the demon paces, running clawed hands along his slimy tentacles, a dark frown etched on his monstrous face. How unfortunate. Truly unfortunate, he murmurs. Behind him stand two other demons, both towering. One bears golden horns, the other possesses a massive build with antler-like protrusions curling from his skull. The apostle has arrived, and yet we cannot reveal ourselves, he grumbles, eyeing a handful of walking corpses, zombified humans, their eyes ghostly white, drool dripping from their slack jaws. So much Stardust powder could have been produced by now. It's a waste, a shame that this time isn't being used properly. In another part of the dungeon, we see a pair of legs planted firmly in front of a massive metal dome. A hooded figure stares up at the structure. Baru, you're sensing the demons here, right? He asks. Yes, my liege, the response comes swiftly. The figure, our protagonist, Suho, pushes open the heavy metal doors, stepping inside with purpose. Inside, the earlier demon turns, startled, eyes narrowing as he shouts, Who? But before he can utter another word, bam! Suho's fist crashes into his face, launching him through the air and past the two stunned demon companions. His body slams against the far wall, crashing through it. The other two demons recoil in shock, watching their comrade's broken form skid to a halt. Suho stands firm, clad in his black mask, fists still trembling with impact, eyes blazing with fury. Baru chimes in gleefully. My liege. You severed the demon's head in one strike. It seems enduring that rotten crocodile's training and those hellish daily quests has paid off. Suho strides forward, stepping over the groaning zombified bodies. They're empty, no consciousness, just like I thought. There's a Stardust powder factory hidden in the Peiju field, too. His thoughts are cut off. Black mask, a voice growls. Across the room, the severed head of the demon speaks, tentacles sprouting violently from it. To think someone would come here, to disrupt the apostle's grand mission. The severed head writhes unnaturally, flesh expanding, reforming, until a mutated, grotesque demon emerges once more, towering and snarling. Perfect, it hisses, red energy pulsing wildly. You'll make a wonderful gift for the apostle. In another part of the dungeon, the sound of pickaxes striking crystal echoes through the air. A shower of glowing fragments erupts with each swing. Miners, those who entered with the subjugation party, continue harvesting magic stones. It's never ending, one miner mutters. No matter how much I dig, how can there be so many magic stones in a guild-managed dungeon? Are there other things to mine besides magic stones? He asks, pausing to wipe sweat from his brow. His companion nods toward the entrance. More importantly, did you see the new guy today? An E-rank miner? In a B-rank dungeon? What were they thinking? Don't be too harsh. He looked young. Admirable that he's working hard, the other replies. Then he adds quietly, Don't tell me they stuck him at the entrance alone. Was that the team leader's doing? You're quick-witted, the first miner replies. That's usually my post. Looked like he pulled about 4 cartloads. We should help him when we're done. Team leader, you're too soft-hearted, the miner sighs. We see the safe zone. 4 carts loaded with magic stones with several more still embedded in the walls. Back inside the darkened heart of the dungeon, Suho stands before the newly transformed grotesque demon. 2 other cloaked demons lurk in the shadows behind it. Baru chimes in. Little lord, that one's magic power is... I can feel it too, Suho cuts him off, thanks to my increased stats. The demon snarls, recognizing Suho. Randolph, He was a rank, but you... Suho's eyes flashed blue, his voice calm but heavy with intent. I heard the association ordered the Death God Guild to subjugate this field dungeon. I applied as a minor, because I suspected something. He clenches his fists. The Hunter Association has caught on to Stardust. If they start pressing Lee Min-seong, I'll lose the chance to learn more about the Interim and the Apostle. Where is he? Where is the Apostle? He demands. The grotesque demon grins as one of his tentacles lashes out, wrapping around Suho's leg. More shoot toward him. You'll meet him soon, because I'll break every bone in your body and offer you to him in a limp, shattered state. Tentacles coil and twist, ensnaring Suho. Once you're bound by my power, you won't escape. Suho's gaze doesn't waver. Overwhelming power? Flashback. Suho stares at his sculpted reflection in a mirror, body dripping with sweat. Amit, Baru, the dog, and the purple-haired girl look on. Impressive, Amit says, arms folded. I didn't think you'd survive my training in just 5 days. Your body's definitely stronger, young master, Baru adds. Suho trembles, tears in his eyes as he suddenly collapses backwards, sprawling on the floor. The stat points I got from daily quests, investing them all into strength, paid off, he pants. And I didn't expect a skill that boosts strength. System window. Skill acquired. Increased strength, plus 20% strength bonus. Amwit leans over. He's now the strongest human I've ever seen. The dog licks his face. The girl cries. Back to present. Boom! The demon's tentacles explode, ripped apart by sheer force. Blood sprays through the air. No! The demon gasps. Suho stands among the shredded limbs, gripping torn tentacles, eyes blazing. System window, strength 120. In a flash, he disappears. Bam! One demon with antlers falls, severed. Bam! Another demon with golden horns crumples, cut in half. The grotesque demon watches, frozen, as his comrades fall. Suho lands before him, eyes locked. I'll ask one more time. Where is the Interim's apostle? The demon snarls, lunging with a massive punch. Suho catches his face midair. Rip! In one motion, he rips the demon's face off. Blood erupts. A blade appears in Suho's other hand. Slash, slash, slash. The demon is diced into pieces before it can blink. Its thoughts flicker. What is this guy? This ominous presence is... It never finishes. Suho glares, lightning crackling from his eye, still holding the torn-off face. Then I'll just find out, without hearing it from you. Baru. Yes, my liege. Suho tosses the demon's head to the floor. As Baru's mouth opens wide, the dying demon thinks, Apostle. It's a pity I can't witness the masterpiece you're crafting, but at least I destroyed that traitor from the Raider family. That alone is enough for this. Murmur. With one final lunge, Beru devours the head. Blood splatters. The cavern falls silent. In another part of the dungeon, the purple-haired elf's ear twitches. She turns her head slightly, brushing her hair behind her ear. What? She murmurs. Somehow, I feel a bit relieved. Meanwhile, Beru happily munches on the remnants of the demon's head. Octopuses have quite the texture, he says, cheeks flushed with delight. How is it, Beru? Any information about the Apostle of Iterim? Suho asks. Beru, cheeks puffed out with his grotesque snack, responds, Well, this guy sees the Apostle as a shining being, nothing else. No detailed info. As Beru describes the Apostle, we flash to a divine vision. The Apostle, glowing with golden light, stands elevated above a massive crowd. Above the heads of his followers, radiant stardust halos float, as if crowning them. Suho exhales heavily. Not easy, as expected. The only way forward is through Lee Min-seong, the one running the Stardust factory. Looking out the broken windows of the abandoned building, Suho clenches his jaw. First, I need to get these people to safety. Elsewhere, the Apostle's eyes flick to the right, his smile fading. The demon's presence has vanished, he thinks. It couldn't be the Hunter Association. He frowns, quietly calculating among the other unsuspecting hunters. The 6-person party soon arrives at a massive gate flanked by twin pillars of fire. Golden inscriptions snake across its stone surface, casting warm light onto the stunned group. Hunter Lee steps forward, his voice calm. This is the boss room of Paju Field. Beck Miho narrows her eyes. We haven't found anything until now. I thought this field was the source of Stardust. So why does it feel like a dead end? She casts a questioning look at both Hunter Lee and Hunter Park Do-jin. Hunter Lee smirks to himself. Surprised, aren't you? That there's nothing here? He leans toward the apostle and whispers, the plan to brainwash the hunters. Cancelled. Better to end this cleanly for now. The apostle simply stares forward, then utters coolly, that would be troublesome. Baekmiho suddenly shivers, a cold sweat running down her cheek. Could it be above ground? I have no choice. We'll clear the boss and investigate again. She turns to the group. Let's move in. Suddenly, Hunter Lee freezes. His face turns pale. His skin starts to turn blue. The apostle stands just behind him. You! What is this? Lee exclaims, trying to turn. The apostle's voice is soft but firm. Didn't I tell you I would turn all the hunters in this party into believers? He drives a stardust crystal deep into the back of Hunter Lee's neck. Lee gasps, completely frozen. The apostle leans in, whispering with quiet menace. The basis of choosing allies lies in their value. Sacrificing an S rank like Taegu for an A rank like you is irrational. Golden smoke rises as the crystal burrows deeper, light bursting from Lee's back. The apostle steps even closer. Lee's face pours sweat, trembling. You will be used to bring down Lim Taegu, the apostle breathes into his ear. Lee's face contorts with rage. Eyes bloodshot, veins bulging, he growls. That damn S rank? Me? You think you can brainwash me? Suddenly, flash. Hunter Lee is transported into a golden mind space. He floats, eyes wide in shock, gazing up at a massive stardust insignia pulsating in midair. According to the will, a voice thunders. Lee's expression goes blank. In the real world, his eyes have turned pitch black. His body stands still, lifeless. Then, the apostle gently pats his shoulder. Lee turns. His eyes now glow golden. Above his head, the stardust insignia shines like a halo. The apostle steps forward, a confident smile spreading across his face. Now then, shall we move on to the next? He turns his gaze to Baekmiho, walking ahead of him, still unaware of the fate now creeping up behind her. A black luxury car rolls to a stop just outside the Paju Field dungeon. Inside, the dimly lit vehicle casts a mysterious glow on a man gently holding a summoned bird of blue flame in his hand. If this summon disappears, that'll be our signal that the party has encountered trouble, the man says quietly. As the camera pulls back, we reveal Hunter Choi, clad in a pristine white suit, his crimson eyes glowing faintly. He continues, the summon of the summon will relay the situation. Who would have thought we'd finally overcome the issue of devices being unusable in dungeons? A brilliant idea. Sitting beside him, silent, arms folded, is the formidable hunter Lim Taegu, armored head to toe, unmoving. Hunter Choi glances his way, voice light. I hope the S ranks won't have to intervene. Hopefully Lee Minseong doesn't cause more trouble. You're worried, aren't you? He says, smirking slightly. Hunter Lim responds dryly. Are you trying to get on my nerves right now? Of course not, Choi chuckles. I guess you're just a little jealous that S-rank Hunter Park Do-jin joined the Reaper Guild, huh? Lim snorts. Not at all. We've got plenty of talented hunters already. A beat of tense silence fills the car. Finally, Lim sighs deeply, frustration creeping into his features. He runs a hand through his hair, eyes narrowing with fury. I can't believe Lee Minseong is the main culprit behind distributing that unknown stimulant, he growls. As a guild master, I feel responsible that something like this happened. His face hardens, fists clenched, anger radiating from every fiber of his being. Hunter Lim Taegu continues, his voice low but firm. If something does happen, I trust you'll keep your promise. I'll suppress the situation, alone. Hunter Choi nods, almost casually. I'd be glad if you did. I prefer not to hurt others. We return to the boss room within the Paju Field dungeon. A massive monster stands before the hunters, flames pouring from its gaping maw. Its scales glisten like molten armor, and its eyes burn crimson. A towering hunter plants his shield into the ground, bracing two comrades behind him. One draws back a glowing bow, the other chants an arcane spell, light swirling around her hands. Behind them, Hunter Lee Minseong sprints into action, sword gripped tightly as he charges the beast head-on. Trailing behind is hunter-back Miho, racing across the battlefield. She casts a sharp glance over her shoulder, back at the Apostle. He stands still, arms folded, head lowered, eyes closed, unbothered. Acting like an S-rank, letting others do all the work, she thinks bitterly. But we are his superiors. She squints, thoughts uneasy. I don't know what's going on, but since we entered this boss room, Lee Min-seong has been fighting like hell. Ahead, Lee Min-seong launches into the air, bricks and debris exploding beneath him. The Apostle's eyes flick open. With this, I'm certain, he muses silently. Stardust is useless for B ranks and above, but star fragments, condensed stardust, can elevate them to A rank status. Lee Min-seong rockets toward the boss, yellow light blazing from his eyes. His blade slashes along the monster's arm, up its shoulder, up to its neck. He twists midair, blood spraying from the gashes as he ascends. Hunter-back Miho gasps, eyes wide. Sweat trails down her cheek as she watches. The beast howls in agony. But as Lee descends, the monster locks, eyes with him, fury igniting within its crimson pupils. Its claw lashes upward. Bam! Lee is struck by its massive fist. He spins backward, only narrowly managing to block with his sword. Launched across the battlefield, Lee crashes to the ground. To stop himself from being flung into the stone wall, he slams his blade into the earth. Dust settles. Lee rises, silent, his face emotionless. But his eyes still glow that eerie yellow. From the rear, the Apostle watches. So, it's still difficult for an A rank to stand toe-to-toe with an S rank, even with a star fragment. He brings his fingers together, tips pressed. Golden light begins to radiate from his palms. The air trembles. Power surges. In that case, he thinks. An inner monologue begins. One of the 5 abilities of Tiela, one of the main body's fragments, is the blessing of amplification, which enhances the unique traits of those possessed. We see the silhouette of Tiel, radiating golden energy. Before him, his 5 color-coded fragments, yellow, red, purple, blue, and green. The monologue continues. The fate of the Mistborn stored within the Stardust, and the unique traits of the weapon, all are amplified. Scenes of past battles flash across the screen. Lee Min-seong's unique trait is magic power amplification. His weapon amplifies /power. Lee Min-seong and his blade shimmer with crackling blue energy. The Apostle watches, eyes glowing golden. Show me, Lee Min-seong. Show me if you can reach the S rank you've always desired, after receiving my blessing. Above, the boss monster roars, launching itself into the air, jaws open, crimson eyes locked on Lee. Below, Lee plants his feet. The Apostle's golden power surges into Lee's body. He grips his sword, eyes shining a fierce golden yellow. The stardust stigma blazes in his pupil. Lee takes his stance. In one incredible motion, he thrusts his sword upward. A massive golden slash tears through the air, piercing the monster's torso. Dust and debris explode outward. The shockwave blasts through the ceiling of the dungeon. Outside, the black luxury car rocks slightly. The 2 S-rank hunters inside go wide-eyed, stunned by the power. Inside the dungeon, Hunter M.I. Ho gasps, sweat pouring down her face. What the? She stammers, staring up at the gaping hole in the ceiling. Lee Min-seong stands, golden energy still radiating around him. He turns and begins walking away. The Apostle watches silently, eyes calculating. The fatigue from amplifying A-rank hunters is immense. He only reached S-rank momentarily. The amplification has mostly vanished. A pity, Lee Min-seong. You don't have the vessel to contain it. Lee's expression is blank, but in his eyes, something twists. He's regaining control. Nearby, the other hunters gaze at the destruction in awe. Hunter Miho narrows her eyes. That wasn't something an A-rank should be able to do, she mutters. Ineffective on high-ranking hunters. Could there be another stimulant besides Stardust? Suddenly, plunge! Everyone freezes. Hunter Miho whips around. A sword protrudes from the Apostle's chest, driven straight through from behind. The Apostle grits his teeth. Lee Min-seong? Lee stands behind him, hands still clutched around the hilt. His eyes are black. Blood trickles from the Apostle's mouth. Lee's voice is low, icy. I told you, didn't I? A dark smile spreads across his face. I told you I'd never be brainwashed by the likes of you. He pulls the sword out. Slam! The apostle crumples, hitting the ground hard, cracking the stone. The other hunters stand in total shock. Lee Min-seong, Miho screams. How could you attack a fellow hunter? Fury blazes in her eyes. Have you gone crazy using that drug? Lee holds his face in one hand, grimacing. Damn it, so this is how it ends. He stares at the apostle's bleeding body. I hear endless voices. His right eye glows with the star power. There are S-rank hunters waiting outside, under orders from the association. If I don't leave now, I won't get out at all. He clenches his teeth. I must escape. Hunter Miho shouts, Don't let him get away. Lee Min-sung screams back, red energy exploding from his eyes. Get out of my way, unless you want to die. Lee Min-sung explodes into motion. He dashes between the hunters, striking each one with a devastating blow as he slips past them. In a blur of movement, he launches himself toward the massive hole his earlier attack carved into the dungeon's ceiling. Hunter back Miho clutches her injured arm, gritting her teeth. Damn it! She turns to the hunter beside her. Send the signal to the S-rank hunters outside. The startled hunter stammers. Oh, all right! But then, a sickening sound behind them. They turn. The apostle is standing, bloodied, trembling, his hand clenched over his wound as golden energy begins to knit his flesh back together. He smirks. As long as one possesses a strong mind, they can resist the divinity of the Mistborn, regardless of their magic power. Ha! Valuable data. Miho steps forward, shocked. Hunter Park, how are you still alive? That blow, it pierced your heart. The apostle slowly brushes his blood-matted hair back, golden eyes glowing despite the gore. He says nothing. Outside, Lee Min-sung tears through the forest, his red energy flaring wildly. Damn it, he shouts. I've obtained the power of an S rank, and yet I'm running like a dog. This is ridiculous. His breath comes ragged, eyes burning. That damn alien, the Hunter Association, the Reaper Guild, none of them can be trusted. Sweat beads on his forehead. I need to hide in a nearby city. Just as he thinks this, thunk, a dagger embeds itself into the earth just inches ahead of him. Lee skids to a halt. What the? He gasps. Eyes widening, he scans the tree line. From the shadows between the trees, a figure emerges. CALM, composed, deadly. I was wondering what had happened with that explosion, the figure says. To think you walk out by yourself. The moonlight reveals his face. It's Suho, our protagonist, wearing his black mask, hoodie casting a shadow over his eyes, now glowing bright blue. He extends a hand. A blade materializes, snapping into his grip. Lee Min-seong, he says. You're going to tell me everything you know about Stardust and the Iterum Apostle. In the forest, two figures face off beneath the moonlit canopy, Suho and Lee Min-seong. Suho breaks the silence. Lee Min-seong. His gaze is sharp beneath the black mask. Across from him, Lee Min-seong narrows his eyes, internal thoughts spiraling. He knows about Stardust and the existence of the Apostle. The alien? He grits his teeth, beads of sweat rolling down his face. The one who defeated Brocky. The black mask. It must be him. Suho stands ready, glove weapons equipped, body poised. Lee's grip tightens on his sword. No matter. I can't afford to be delayed. If I linger, the hunters will catch up. Judging by his magic power, he's no match for me, Lee thinks, and then lunges. Die! He swings his sword straight at Suho's neck. But Suho smiles beneath the mask. With one swift motion, he sidesteps and catches the sword mid-thrust. Lee stares, stunned. He blocked it? I can't pull my sword out? How strong is this guy? Boom! Suho's kick cracks against Lee's jaw, launching him skyward. Blood sprays from Lee's nose and mouth. He has less magic power than me, so how is he doing this? Baru's inner voice cuts in. It's natural to be surprised. A hunter's rank is judged by the amount of mana they possess, but I, who can sense pure strength, know better. While the young monarch was raising his strength stat, Amit's brutal training maximized his physical power. Lee crashes back down and scrambles to strike again, swinging his sword in desperation. Clang! Blocked. Suho's armored gloves deflect the blow with ease. Beru continues, his physical abilities, are far beyond what an A rank can handle. Back in the ruined boss room, Hunter Bake Miho stares at the Apostle. Hunter Park, how are you still alive? That attack pierced your heart. The Apostle stands silent. Then he draws a Stardust crystal from inside his jacket. A chill runs through the air. That's... Miho gasps. But before anything happens, a voice echoes behind her. Hunter Beck Miho, what happened here? She turns quickly. Oh, you came right away. Hunter Choi and Hunter Lee Taegu. Above the hole in the ceiling, the two S-rank hunters look down. The Apostle sighs. 2 S-ranks. Hunter Choi jumps down, landing smoothly beside them. His red jacket sways in the breeze. He scans the chaos. We came as soon as we felt the explosion. What the hell happened? It was Lee Min-sung, Miho responds. An A-rank hunter did all this? Choi questions. He exuded immense mana, like he was consumed by a stimulant, she explains. She adds, her voice tight, he attacked Hunter Park Dojin. Choi turns to the Apostle. You look surprisingly fine. The Apostle lifts his glowing golden eyes. I have a recovery skill. Choi raises a brow. Quite the high-level one, huh? He mutters, chin resting on his fingers. The Apostle merely smiles. Tension hangs. Then Miho shouts. That aside, we have to go after Lee Min-seong. If he reaches the city, he'll vanish. Choi turns to the hole above. You're right, Hunter Lee. Did you hear that? He calls up. No reply. He frowns. Don't tell me. They all look upward. The road level is empty. The Apostle stood silently, golden yellow eyes glowing beneath furrowed brows. Hunter Lim is gone already. That's bad, he thought. My link with Lee Min-sung hasn't been cut. I didn't expect him to resist the fate. Human desires. Truly fascinating. He narrowed his eyes. No one would believe what he says. But if I do nothing, it could cause unnecessary suspicion. As Hunter Choi and Bak Miho began to walk away, she turned back briefly. Hunter Park, you should rest, just in case you're still unwell. They disappeared into the corridor. The Apostle's eyes slid shut. Then it can't be helped. I'll throw away Lee Min-sung. It'll cost me a lot of divinity, but I'll take over his body and make him commit suicide. He's just an A rank. I'll find another. He focused, consciousness tunneling into the link with Lee Min-sung. Faint vision? What's this? He's fighting? The image cleared. Suho's fist was flying toward Lee Min-sung's face. The Apostle's eyes snapped open. The Black Mask? What's he doing here? Is he also after Lee Min-sung like the association? He severed the link, returning to the present, but his mind was a storm. Nothing is going to plan. S ranks in this world. Lee resisting fate. The Black Mask showing up. His lips curled slightly. In the old world, everything followed God's word. Now, everything is chaos. He hid his smile behind his hand, but it only grew wider. Why am I smiling? Back in the forest, Suho and Lee Min-sung clashed, blow after blow. Lee was on the defensive, barely holding back Suho's relentless strikes. Bam, 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 bam! Sweat poured down Lee's face. I can't let him keep me here any longer. Wait, he suddenly shouted. Suho paused mid-strike, landing in front of him with a curious glare. Is there any chance you'll let me go if I answer your questions? Lee asked. Suho narrowed his eyes. Weren't you working with the Apostle? Lee gritted his teeth. That bastard backstabbed me. Suho blinked, surprised by the statement. Did things fall apart between them? Why help him distribute Stardust then? Suho pressed. Because he promised to kill someone I wanted dead, Lee snapped. He raised his sword slightly, standing firm. The forest wind howled between them. You worked with him to kill someone? Suho echoed. Lee stared. After the great cataclysm, my entire life fell apart. Some nobody became an S rank and started to look down on me. He trembled, fists clenched. To live as myself again, there was someone I had to kill. He pointed dash at Suho. Suho froze in shock. Weren't you looking for the alien too? To kill him? Number, I don't intend to kill him, Suho replied firmly. Lee's eyes widened. You don't? Even though he's here to invade this world? Lee's lips curled into a sinister smile. You remind me of characters I hated during my acting days. Naive, hopeful, empty. His eyes glowed red. Kindness and ethics, they're just society's gifts. You don't even know what you want. That hit Suho hard. If you hadn't gotten lucky with your power, you'd be just another nobody. Sooner or later, you'll face a choice that'll define you. Lee's energy surged, scarlet aura rising, his pupils vanished into blazing red. And I'll create that choice for you. He lowered his blade. The identity of the guy you'll have to kill is, suddenly, within his mindscape. Lee Min-sung was enclosed within 2 massive palms. The towering figure of the apostle looked down at him. I won't allow you to speak any longer. I'm grateful to you. I've gained much from your service. The apostle's smile widened. You're not incompetent. I'll use your body one last time. Lee's face twisted in horror. What? No. Wait. The hand shut, crushing. In the real world, golden energy erupted from Lee Min-sung's body. The trees shook, winds howled. Suho raised an arm to shield himself. That's the interim's energy, Baru shouted. Stronger than Brocky's. Lee's blade dissolved. A new form began. Wings tore from his back. His ears became sharp. His limbs transformed, covered in dark fur. Trees were uprooted around them. Suho's eyes narrowed, sweat dripping. A voice rang out, different, deep, alien. I see. The apostle now stood in Lee's transformed body, golden energy swirling around him. Attacking the factory? Finding Lee Min-sung? All just to meet me? He stepped forward, blade reborn in his hand. Suho stared in shock. The apostle grinned. I've wanted to meet you too, Black Mask Disruptor. Side by side, we see both faces. The calm, manipulative apostle. And now, his monstrous new form. The final confrontation begins. In the heart of the devastated forest, Suho and the winged apostle stood opposite one another. The apostle, now possessing Lee Min-sung's body, raised his transformed blade. I too wanted to meet you, he repeated, voice cold, distorted by power. Sober tour, with the black mask. Suho stared, fists clenched, senses heightened. Lee Min-sung suddenly changed. No, judging by what he's saying. He narrowed his eyes. Are you the apostle, sent by the god of another world? The apostle's eyes lit up. As I thought, you know about us. He bared his teeth in a grin. Yes, I've come to claim ownership of this world. Suho's gaze burned. Because of them. My father can't come back. He started to power up. You're just the person I needed to see. His eyes glowed a crimson blue, but before either could move... Enough! An arrow's presence surged through the forest. A wave of spiritual pressure crashed down on them. From now on, neither of you move without my permission. Hunter Lim Tagyu stood in the distance, bow drawn, eyes glowing white, voice thunderous. You try anything and you'll end up with holes in your body. Suho turned, shocked. That's S-rank Hunter Lim Tagyu. The apostle hovered silently above, watching. Lim's arrow pointed at them both. Lee Min-sung, what the hell have you been doing all this time? The apostle smirked. Looks like we'll have to continue this talk later. He turned to leave. Suho's eyes widened. Let's meet at the highest point in this region, Black Mask. The apostle spread his wings, blasted into the air. Where do you think you're going, Min-sung? Lim roared. He released an arrow. It screamed through the sky. The apostle dodged expertly, but the arrow veered, heading for Suho. Suho flipped midair, narrowly avoiding it. Lim drew again. 3 arrows. He released. They whipped across the forest, shattering trees, rocks exploding where they landed. The apostle danced between them, swift and fluid. Suho dodged each strike, dust flying around him. Damn it, looks like Hunter Lim's here to take down Lee Min-sung too, Suho muttered. Are you not going to retaliate, young monarch? Beru asked calmly. He doesn't seem connected to the apostle. Besides, he hasn't even shown his true power yet, Suho replied. Lim gritted his teeth. They're dodging as if it's second nature. His eyes locked onto Lee. Right now, taking down Lee Min-sung comes first. He raised his bow again. Blue energy surged around him. I wanted to bring you in unharmed, Min-sung, but so be it. He let the arrow fly. The apostle, hovering, narrowed his eyes. That mana is dangerous. His golden pupils flickered, just as the arrow flew. Something moved behind Lim. He spun. A green shadow goblin stood behind him, blinking dumbly. Lim's arrow instantly snapped toward it. What? Why is there a goblin here? Realization hit. His eyes widened. Shit. He turned back. Both Suho and the Apostle were gone. Even the goblin had vanished. The forest was silent. Crushed leaves and broken trees were all that remained. Lim's face twitched in fury. "Lee Min-sung," he bellowed. He stood there alone, jaw clenched. "What the hell are you thinking?" The scene cuts to a vibrating phone on a desk. A hand picks it up. It's the association chairman. He answers with a sharp tone. "I see, so Lee Min-sung escaped." The voice on the other end is remorseful. "Sorry about that, Chairman. That one's on me." Hunter Lim Tai-gyu now stands amidst the shattered forest with Hunter Choi and Hunter Miho. "Lee Min-sung's condition wasn't normal. He looked like he was under the influence of the drug," Lim continues. "And there was another hunter with him?" Choi immediately perks up. "A black mask?" he asks quickly. Lim turns to him. "How did you know that?" "I saw him too during the airport dungeon break. He fought off those magic beasts alone and had a black magic beast with him." The chairman on the other end freezes. His eyes go wide. "A black beast? Like Baru?" His mind flashes back to Idris, the shadow soldier of Sung Jinwoo. If it's a black beast, could it be? Has Hunter Sung Jinwoo returned? But he shakes his head. No, he would have ended everything in seconds. "Then who?" He trails off. Scene shift. A jagged cliff bathed in sunset. Wind howls through the skies. Suho walks forward, his shadow stretched out behind him. Across from him stands the Apostle, still in Lee Min-sung's transformed body. He smiles, blade raised. "Well, this is unexpected. Why did you help me earlier?" Suho stops. "Obviously, you'll just abandon that body once it gets too dangerous." He continues walking toward him. "I heard from the demons. The darkness in this world is the Shadow Monarch." The Apostle's eyes flash. "What's your relation to the Shadow Monarch?" Suho's voice is calm. "You seem curious, but I'm not obligated to tell you anything." He cracks his knuckles. "I'll just beat the answers out of you." Baru, hidden in Suho's hood, whispers, "Be careful, young monarch. I can't grasp how powerful Min-sung is now." "Don't worry," Suho replies, eyes narrowing. "I've prepared for this." He spreads his arms. "Arise." A tremor rolls across the cliff. Shadows stretch, grow, and then burst upward, forming towering figures behind Suho. The Apostle frowns. It's unmistakable. That's the authority of darkness I saw on the battlefield. A system window appears. Shadow Soldiers. Summoned, King of the Swamp, Blue Venom-Fanged Kasich, rank Common. Poison-Toothed Giant, Desert Centipede, rank Common. High Troll, rank Common. Tomb Wanderer, Sika, rank Elite. The four monsters loom behind Suho, their auras surging. "These are corpses I've saved just for this day," Suho says. He summons his armored gloves, energy wrapping his arms. "Let's go all out." His hair turns white. Black markings form across his skin. He clenches his fists, aura flaring violently. The Apostle grits his teeth, sword crackling. Both combatants lock eyes. The air thickens, the sun sets, and the fight begins. Suho now stands firm, four colossal shadow monsters looming behind him, their presence dark and ominous against the backdrop of the scarred forest. Across from him, the Apostle, inhabiting Lee Min-sung's body, grins, his golden eyes gleaming with anticipation. Ping, a notification window suddenly appears before Suho. Urgent quest notice. Eliminate Lee Min-sung, Apostle of the Ethereum, and obtain his memories. Progress, 0 out of 1. Suho narrows his gaze. So it's come to this, he thinks. The moment I'll have to kill a human. Across the battlefield, the Apostle points his sword directly at Suho. Strange. Is this change within me a result of understanding emotion? He muses, folding his hands in silent reverence inside Lee Min-sung's mindscape. Memories of the main body flicker in fragments. He recalls the first encounter with the Shadow Monarch, the dark, towering figure who halted their divine army single-handedly. A being from another dimension who stood against us alone. Was I curious? Fascinated? Am I seeking answers from the one known as the darkness? His eyes glow with a golden hue as he snaps back into focus, just in time. A shadow beast lunges, massive jaws open wide, prepared to devour him. With a quick motion, the Apostle slashes it clean in half, its two halves falling to either side, but in the blur of motion behind his wings. Suho. The protagonist closes in fast, using the beast as a distraction. The Apostle's eyes widen, barely raising his blade in time to block a devastating punch. The battle ignites. Suho and the Apostle trade blow for blow, fierce and blindingly fast. The apostle scoffs inwardly. Using his soldiers as cover to confront me directly? Is he truly confident in close quarters combat? He swings his bladed arm in a horizontal slash. Suho leans back just enough to avoid the strike, but one of the shadow beasts behind him is not so lucky and is instantly bisected. Just then, a spear flashes into view. The purple-haired elf girl charges in with a war cry, bringing her spear down toward the apostle's head. He tilts slightly, catching the spear midair and lifting her up effortlessly with one hand. "You are not one of the dark soldiers," he states coldly. Fear floods her face as she hangs in midair, but before the apostle can act, bam! A clean kick lands square on his face. It barely moves him. He turns his head back slowly, eyes flashing with golden light. Standing protectively before the elf girl, Suho stares him down. "Why do you not utilize your dark soldiers?" the apostle asks. Suho tilts his head. "Dark soldiers? I can show you, if you really want." At that moment, the elite rank shadow soldier, tomb wanderer, Psycha, emerges from the apostle's blind spot and grabs him in a powerful lock. The apostle's eyes widen as he's pinned in place. Suho steps forward, fists radiating with power, preparing his strike. But suddenly, boom! A sandstorm explodes from the apostle's body. The blast obliterates the elite soldier holding him and hurls Suho backward, forcing him to raise his arms in defense. Sand surges across the field, uprooting trees and blasting aside rubble. Suho steadies himself, sweat trailing down his cheek. The sand that was binding him exploded? Through the swirling dust, the apostle steps forth. "Is it just my selfish desire to feel that thrill again?" he murmurs. Then, he lunges. The apostle charges through the chaos, blade drawn, aiming not just for Suho, but for the allies standing behind him. The battle has truly begun. The apostle's blade slashed clean through the air, whistling with death. It struck fast, too fast. The purple-haired elf barely saw it coming. Her spear shattered mid-swing, and a deep slash tore across her chest. Blood sprayed as she stumbled backward, only for the blade to continue its arc, piercing straight through the high troll behind her. Suho's eyes narrowed, sweat dripping from his brow as he clenched his fists. His gauntlets, his most trusted weapons, began to crack. The apostle landed softly on the scorched earth, golden wings fanning out behind him. "How disappointing," he muttered coldly, casting a glance over his shoulder. The soldiers of the darkness. They were trained warriors. Each possessed a will of their own. Your imitations? Nothing but shadows of shadows. He looked Suho dead in the eye. To possess the same authority, yet lack the mastery to wield it? You're mediocre at best. The elf girl groaned, barely holding herself upright with the remains of her spear. Her body trembled, but her eyes stayed locked on Suho. The apostle's voice carried across the broken battlefield like a final judgment. Your existence is unrefined. Suho grit his teeth, his thoughts racing. Damn it. Since the apostle of Ethereum possessed him, he's grown far stronger, easily at S-rank levels. Blood dripped over Suho's eye, blinding him partially. He had no time to react. Another strike came. Boom! Suho stumbled backward, arms raised, trying desperately to block the apostle's flurry of attacks. This world, it lacked a being capable of standing as the darkness's equal, the apostle spoke, eyes burning with golden divinity as he struck again. Perhaps that's why he seemed so lonely. Crack. Suho's gloves exploded into fragments, shattered on impact. A system window blinked into existence. Item, Vulcan's horn, destroyed. Before he could react, a blade tore through his chest. Stab. His breath caught. Blood burst from his mouth. His mask cracked, then vanished. Young Monarch! The elf girl screamed, tears streaking down her blood-stained cheeks. The apostle stared down at Suho, blade still embedded. You were gifted power, but not purpose, he said. You have no identity. So I'll take your power and understand what the darkness once felt. Suho's trembling hand wrapped weakly around the blade skewering his body. Blood oozed from his mouth and nose. His vision blurred, but he stayed standing. His mind spiraled into memory. Unrefined. Mediocre. An empty replica of your father. Those words echoed, mocked him. You don't even know what you want. He remembered Biru's question back on the sofa. Why haven't you used your shadow form, young monarch? His answer back then had been timid, insecure. It's not needed. Dad never used it either. But Biru had only stared at him, quiet, thoughtful. That silence now screamed louder than any words. When had he started settling for less? When had he let fear define his limits? He saw himself as a child, hunched over a canvas, drawing in silence. A broken pencil rested on the floor. The dreams he'd once had, abandoned. I couldn't even name a single reason why I wanted to become stronger, he realized. Only to follow in my father's footsteps, to meet him, to find my mother someday. But what did he want? Something only I can do, he thought, gritting his teeth. I'm not his replica. He clenched his trembling fist and whispered with blood-soaked lips, "Arise!" From the shadows behind him, they began to stir. The apostle raised an eyebrow. Immortal soldiers, revived again, he muttered. They're no threat to me. But something was different this time. The shadows didn't just return, they merged, twisted together, bones fusing, muscles warping, energy pooling. What emerged was not the same. Chimera? The apostle whispered, eyes widening. A hulking mass of power stepped forth, a towering fusion of all four of Suho's beasts. Then, growl. A familiar snarl echoed behind Suho. The loyal shadow wolf, Gray, stood at his side, eyes glowing with loyalty and fire. Suho looked up. Shadows crawled across his skin. His face began to shift. His hair bleached into pale white strands. His body darkened, veins pulsating with shadow power. Just when he was broken, he awakened. Suho's shadow has risen, his form transformed, his resolve reborn. But will his newfound power be enough to stop a being who once challenged the Shadow Monarch himself? Find out in the next episode. But before you go, don't forget to tap like if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe for more epic recaps, turn on notifications so you never miss a chapter. And with that being said, Manhwa Champions, we're going to bring this video to an end. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will catch you all later. Peace.